And potential changes in security surrounding candidates could have impacts on how supporters feel once they leave rallies. The former president's chief of staff, Mick Mulvaney, says supporters probably won't get to feel as close to the candidates as they once did. We're joined now by Democratic strategist Melissa DeRosa, who's a contributor for the Daily Beast, along with Republican strategist Terry Holt, who worked with the Bush-Cheney campaign and was an advisor to former House Speaker John Boehner. Terry, Melissa, great to have you both. Thank you for being here. Terry, I'd like to start with you. You know, former President Trump's campaign confirms to NewsNation this morning he will be back on the campaign trail as soon as tomorrow in Michigan. How would you advise his campaign after 2 attempts now on his life?
I would advise them to go forward with the campaign. They're behind in the polls, and it's important to maintain that connection with the American people. The process of electing a president is a solemn exercise that we conduct as a nation. And there's no question that in these dangerous times, that our presidential candidates should be afforded the same protection as the president in these next few months while things try to attempt to settle into an election day outcome.
You know, Melissa, Democrats have been scrutinized for calling the former president a threat to democracy. Do you believe the political rhetoric is getting too hot? Do things need to change 50 days out from the election?
You know, look, Kelly, I think that the rhetoric in this country on both sides of the aisle is too hot. I don't think that you can really pin this on one or the other. Undoubtedly, there are sick people out there, and there's no place for political violence whatsoever. But I think that if you're going to see that change, you're going to have to see that change on both sides of the aisle, not just one.
Well, I hear your point, and the vice president has condemned this, let the record show. Terry, now with this second attempt on the
Well, I was going to say that we ended the week with J.D. Vance stirring racial tensions in his own home state among his own constituents. So
Exactly.
I agree with my colleague here that things have gotten a little out of control.
Well, I think we can all agree that lowering the temperature there would benefit the entire electorate, focusing on the issues and making our selection based on where the candidates stand there would be the most helpful. You know, Terry, this is the second attempt, as we've outlined, on the former president's life. What do you believe would be the most powerful messaging from the Trump camp moving forward now with 50 days left on the clock?
Well, I think they actually ought to work with the Biden administration to come up with a plan to surge new resources into the Secret Service as soon as possible while this campaign is still occurring. I would challenge the Republicans and the Democrats in the Congress not to wait anymore about finding out what happened in Butler. Let's go ahead and make these reforms now so that our candidates can be safe for this election.
And Melissa, I'll pose the same question to you. You know, on the Democratic side, what messaging do you believe is going to resonate most widely from the Harris camp at this stage of the race after all voters have witnessed up to this point?
You know, look, we've got 50 days left to go. I think there's the governmental side and how they're going to deal with the Secret Service and what was obviously a debacle here. There is absolutely no reason, given after what happened in July, that they would not have made massive changes to the former president's security detail, and there's no excuse for that, and the American people are rightly going to demand answers. But I think going into the next 50 days, the way for Kamala Harris to win this thing is to stay on the issues. Stay away from the vitriol. You don't need it. Leave it to the other side. Talk about what Americans care about. Inflation, pocketbook issues, how you're going to deal with the migrant crisis, not in a made-up way around eating dogs and cats, but actual border security and speaking to things that matter to the American people. And if she can do that for the next 50 days and stay focused, then she's going to win this thing.
All right. Terry Holt, Melissa DeRosa, thank you both for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.